Hi, everybody. Dr. De Liberti here again on this March of Women. I'm here today to talk to you about Rosalind Franklin. I'm going to start out, though, by telling you a story about two men. When I was in third grade, I think, fourth grade maybe, my first intellectual crush was on two guys named Watson and Crick. And because they had discovered the double helix nature of DNA, and I thought that was so fascinating at that age. What I, of course, didn't know then was how profoundly racist Watson was, and apparently Crick was too, but much politer about it. I also didn't know about Rosalind Franklin, and that Watson and Crick wouldn't have discovered the double helix nature of DNA without photograph 51. So Rosalind Franklin was born in London. She, at 15, knew she wanted to be a chemist. Against her father's wishes, she went on to get a PhD in chemistry at Cambridge, and then went to King's College to work with men who were unkind to her, racist. She's Jewish, and also undermining her work. So she was working with a graduate student named Gosling, and a man there named Wilkins didn't like her. And of course, we know Watson and Crick had their issues with race and ethnicity. So here she's working in this lab, and she's working with X-rays. She had been studying the structure of coal and then came to study the structure of DNA, and she was using X-ray diffraction. So her graduate student, or the student who'd been working under her, actually took the picture, but it was based on her calculations, and they'd been working together and under her supervision that this picture was taken. It was on her desk or in her files, and this man Wilkins, with whom who did not get along with her, took the picture, showed it to Watson, who had this revelation about the structure of DNA. In 1962, Watson and Crick were awarded the Nobel Prize for this discovery. Rosalind Franklin was dead. She had been dead 4 years by then because a lot of her work was work in X-ray diffraction and working with X-ray. So she died of cancer at age 37. She was so young. And so there's a controversy about this picture and how much credit she deserves and why she couldn't have been given the award posthumously. Geneticist Matthew Cobb, who's written a great deal about this particular photograph and the structure of DNA, says that it's interesting that that was a 2-year period of her life, but that she had done so much. She started out studying coal, and by the time she died, she was studying polio, but in between times, she'd been looking at plants and other viruses and structures of other things all along the way. So he feels that this kind of cuts her career short and helps us misframe her and all of her other accomplishments. Of course, part of me agrees with him, and part of me says, but Matthew probably hasn't had his work stolen by other people, so he can afford to be sort of cavalier about how this might have changed Rosalind Franklin's life. We won't know, but we do know that photograph 51, the calculations to take that kind of photo were made by Rosalind Franklin, and so she should at least get part, is my thought. I think there's a very famous article that says, why have there been no great women artists? And of course, the article doesn't believe there have been no great women artists, but it's a question that's often asked. And we always say, why have there been no great women scientists? But I think Marie Curie and Rosalind Franklin proved to us that there were great women scientists, Lise Meitner, but they kept having to counter men who had egos and little conscience. So I'm leaving it on a bad note because I feel very distressed for this Rosalind. I'm still stuck on the photo 51. I'm not where Matthew Cobb is, in fact. In any case, I hope you'll go find out more about Rosalind Franklin and all of her whole life and all of her scientific life from beginning to end. Have fun researching.